Equestrian Festival. Of course, again, it's been quite a long time in the making, but it's here now, and you may be wondering what it's all about. And so we do have, of course, with us the expert in the field, and one you've been listening to throughout the course of the last several weeks here, Stephen Wild, to tell you all about our competition and the course for this exciting event.
Thank you very much, Brian. Yes, we're going into what is going to be the first round of competition. So let's give you a quick run-through of how this works. Each of the teams have 3 riders, and in the first round, the 8 teams that feature here all go with all 3 riders. Now, their scores are added up together. Table A, I know most of you will know what that means, but I'll just run through that, means faults and times. So clears are more imperative than maybe being the fastest in there. But if you had a whole group of clears, you'd want to be the fastest clear. Basically, the easy part of this is the teams go, 3 riders for each team go, the best 4 teams of the 8 go forward to round 2. After that, we have 2 more rounds which we'll take you on to as we go, but they are under Table C. So the key part is here, let's have a chat about what's happening in the first round. And alongside me is twice Grand Prix winner in the last 3 weeks, is Carl Cook to talk about this. And Carl, you've been taking a look at the track. Let's take an early spin. What do you think?
I think it's a great track. It's a lot of fluidity, so it's a lot about controlling your track from one line to the other, not letting one line sacrifice the next line. It'll be interesting to see what the time allowed is in the first line, because that will adjust how you ride, but it really is an interesting exercise in how you ride a fluid track that's accurate for what you need.
Okay, I'm going to let you take me on a tour of this. Take me over to where you think we've got the first 3 fences, starting over the orange fence down here, and then a vertical, and then to the just wild at 3. But where do we really get into the really tough bit of this course?
I think the most interesting part for me as a rider comes after fence 6. So after fence 6, you have this big swooping turn to fence 7. And if the time allowed is tight, that can be a little bit, you might want to angle that oxer, but that might affect your line to fence 8, making it shorter. And then after that, if you angle fence 8, that can affect your line to fence 9. And when you walk it, 8 to 9 doesn't seem that close together. But when you're riding, that's going to come up real quick. And then right after fence 9, you roll back around. So it's from fence 6, 7, 8, 9, it really is a test in how you can ride an accurate track that's correct for your horse.
Okay, let's have a little walk over there and put that in perspective for what you're saying. So 6, 7, and as you say, we come past 3. We go through the triple combination for A, B, C. And then from there coming into this group of fences. Cabana Coast fence here coming up on course as we'll make our way down here. One of our sponsors within the Major League Show Jumping events. And this is going to be fence 9 on the track. So by the time you've reached this point, what are your overall thoughts? We're just going to turn that way.
I mean, you're kind of through, once you get to fence 9, you're through more or less the most difficult part. Because you got 3 fences after fence 9, you got 10, 11, AB, and 12. So you're through most of it. And thankfully, after fence 9, you kind of have a big turn to fence 10. You might have to do that turn quickly, but you still have a big turn, so you can kind of take a deep breath. But up until fence 9, from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's really some precise riding.
Excellent. Well, that's what it's out to test. Let's move across to 11AB and then this run down to 12, the Southern Arches fence, as we take a spot over here. I'm going to bring you over this way, Carl. Carl, talking through this line here, coming down towards the closing end of the course, you're still clear at this point. What are the thoughts going through your head?
You got to stay focused, because you're at the end of a course, you've had some tough lines, but at the same time, 11AB to 12 is not an easy line, so you have to stay sharp and not think, oh, thank God, I'm clear, and kind of like, you know, exhale. You got to stay really precise from fence 10 to 11A, because that can affect how it goes from to 11B, and then also the short stride to 12.
Now looking down this line, this is going to be the final line here, the Southern Arches fence coming down there over the water tray. It's not giving away much. It's quite a tough one to finish off on.
Correct. It's a little bit of a tight distance to it. It's 3 poles on the front, which is quite airy with the Liverpool underneath. You know, it is quite a careful oxer with white poles, you know, on that last fence. So it's quite careful, square. You know, you really have to, at this point in the course, you're a little bit tired, your horse is a little bit tired, but it's really a careful test at the very end of the course.
Okay, so we're going to talk very, very briefly, and you and I are going to go into it in detail in a few moments' time. But this first round, 3 riders on each team, all 3 riders go for the team, for the 8 teams in total. So it's a very different perspective, because your first 2 riders will have gone, maybe your 3rd rider in the team, and that is going to put even more pressure on you if the first 2 have gone clear.
I like it because they go back to back to back. I think that's interesting because it elevates the pressure per team quite quickly. You don't have time for that pressure to elevate. It just goes boom. And very quickly, if you're the 3rd rider, you could go from everything's fine to, wow, this round really matters. And I think that's really cool.
And how does that change then if you were coming down this line here?
Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't change anything because you still have to jump clear. But we're all human, and so it does change it because it makes it more important, and so you start to think about it more, maybe more than you need to. But that's a human response, not like reality. It's still just jump clear. But in your brain, oof, it's harder.
Much, much harder. And so we're going to be taking you through how that's going to work in the first round. So let's just roll back. Give me your tough couple of fences on this course. Where do we really need to look forward to?
I think the triple combination is going to be interesting. It's a little bit short, A to B, and then normal B to C with an oxer. I think, like we talked about, 6, 7, 8, 9. From a rider will be interesting. It might not be interesting on like rails a lot, but just on how people pick their track is going to be interesting. And I think come down this last line at the end of the course will definitely be something to watch.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to that. As I say, we're going to take you through a little tour of how the team competition is going to work in a few moments' time as well. But in the meantime, I'm going to hand you back to Brian Lookabill, who's going to take us through the next few minutes, and of course through our competition here this evening.
Indeed, Stephen. And Carl, thank you very much for all that insight. We're going to give you a brief overview later on in a very high-tech, 3-dimensional course description once we get closer to the first horse. But we're glad to have the insight from riders and those who know. And we're also, of course, glad to have some great sponsorship, including the sponsorship from folks like Caliday. Caliday, proud to support our inaugural season of the Major League Show Jumping Tour and to be outfitting the top riders in the world as they compete for over $7 million in prize money over 10 events at North America's premier show jumping venues. Founded in 2014 to provide American-made luxury apparel, Caliday is known for its high-quality products and its modern take on the storied equestrian lifestyle. Visit the Caliday booth in front of the Grand Prix tent here on the grounds to shop the entire collection, as well as the official Major League show jumping apparel and merchandise that's available there.
When every second counts, the surface matters. Premier Equestrian features Pro-Tex footing product and Auto Sport base mats. Mats absorb up to 40% of the concussion. Pro-Tex provides maximum stability. Premier Equestrian is the official footing partner of Major League Show Jumping. Contact us about your arena at premierequestrian.com.
It's a little bit different, but a lot of tactics in there.
Absolutely, but the big thing with round one, ride your course, because it's so easy to think about what comes in the future, but at the time that you're riding, all that matters is your course. And I think that is what people need to focus on most.
You're going to make it sound easy. It's a tough one as well, as we talked a little bit about the team pressure. And again, the tactics here, because they're slightly different in that 3 riders on a team, as I say, they go in the first round, all 3. In round 2, 2 of them go, and the rider that didn't go in round 2 goes in the last round, essentially on their own. It's going to feel a bit lonely.
It will, and I think round 2 and round 3 is where you start to get more strategy. Do you want to bring out bigger guns in round 2, or do you want to leave what you might feel is your biggest gun for round 3? You know, that's where it kind of, that's where you're going to see some strategy. It's going to be really interesting to see how the teams play it.
Team's going to play it very interestingly because we've already had a draw as well. So the draw that took place earlier on this week has determined this first round. The Crusaders are the team that get to go last. We've talked a lot about this week whether that gives an advantage or not, but I'm also sitting on the fence or jumping off the fence and saying actually the team that go first could put a lot of pressure on.
Absolutely. You know, if you come out right out the gate and you crack out 3 clear rounds, you put a lot of pressure on people. Now, sure, you could say that makes it harder to jump 3 clear rounds because you haven't seen anyone jump before, so you don't have that experience watching other people. But absolutely, I think if the Crusaders can come out and do 3 clear rounds, that puts a lot of pressure on the remaining 7.
Absolutely. So it's that first round coming up for you in a few moments' time. 3 riders in each of the teams in the first round. 8 teams, as I say. Then the best 4 teams go through to round 2. 4 teams still go through to the third round, but it is the order of the third round that makes the difference. And a little bit of the sting in the tail as well is in that third round. If you're in 3rd and 4th position, you ride off against each other for 3rd and 4th. The team that are 1st and 2nd ride against each other for 1st and 2nd. So if in round 2 you don't get yourself into the first 2, you can't win it.
Correct, and I think that, you know, that's a big thing that goes into strategy with round 2, is round 2 really sets the stage for what comes in round 3. So I think the biggest pressure round, as I see it, is round 2 of the 3, because that really sets you up possibly irreparably for round 3.
Excellent. Well, all of that strategy is going to play out. You're going to be watching from the sidelines. Carl, I'm going to see you a little later on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Carl. And Brian, it's back to you to continue the build-up.
Thank you very much, Stephen. And build up indeed. You might not realize it, but you're actually the focus of the next part of this build up, just up on the big screen in pre-recorded fashion. So folks, take a look up there.
If you want speed, you've come to exactly the right place. In the world of show jumping, a new exciting competition starts here on the Great Lakes. Well, just over on the land, over at the Flintfield Showground, something very special is coming. A new amazing series, the team competition on the Saturday, and of course featuring a 5-star Grand Prix as well. It's big, it's exciting, it's simply known as Major League Show Jumping.
To learn exactly how things will work. We're glad you're with us, and again, 8 teams will vie for the spots. Only 4 will advance to the second round. Then we'll go into that jump-off mode with faults being converted in that round, and more on that coming up next as we tell you all about how exactly this class will work.
So how does it all work for the Major League Show Jumping team competition? Well, the first round is determined by a draw. The ideal spot is to be last to go in that first round. Round 1 is decided on faults and time. 3 riders per team go,
and all 3 of their scores count. Placed on faults and combined time, the best 4 teams then progress to the first jump-off. Now here's the strategy bit. In the first jump-off, 2 riders compete of the 3 that competed in round 1. The remaining rider of the 3 will compete in the podium final jump-off. The first jump-off and the final podium jump-off are Table C, so seconds added for a fence down. 3 seconds to be exact. The final stage is the podium jump-off, the top 4 teams going through here, so the team that finished in 3rd and 4th will ride off against each other, 1 rider from each of those teams to decide 3rd and 4th, and then the climax is the team that were in 1st and 2nd after their first jump-off. Time will be the decider as to who will be first, top of the podium in this leg of Major League Show Jumping.
We've already told you all about the competition here, how the team events are going to work, but this is just one of many events that will be happening throughout the course of the season. And of course the tour will make actually 2 stops here as the season opens in Traverse City this week and next week. You'll get a double helping of the fun in Traverse City. Following that, August 20th through 22nd and 27th through 29th will be stops 3 and 4 on the tour, then back to Traverse City in mid-September as our American Gold Cup competition will also be the stage for stop 5 in the season. Caledon, Ontario will be September 23rd through 26th, and that will be the 6th stop, and then down to the south of Mexico, San Miguel de Allende, October 29th through 31st, Monterrey La Silla, November 11th through 14th, and then out west in the U.S. in December 8th through 11th, 2nd through 5th, and 8th through 11th, that is the Thermal Desert International will be the host to the 9th and 10th stops on the tour. $7 million in total will go out in prize money throughout the course of our competition, and again, the excitement begins right here today. Let's take one more look at the course overview as we descend on our Traverse City venue here in the Turtle Creek Casino and Hotel International Ring. Coming down into the venue, as you will see, and as has already been discussed, the horses and riders are going to attempt to go clear over all the fences, starting over the orange and white Oxford number 1 coming over.
Well, we're taking a look at the course for the first round of this Major League competition, and alongside me is Michael Morrissey Jr. to take a look at this. Round 1 is a Table A, Michael, and so this makes this slightly different. All 3 riders go, collective score for that first round for each team, 3 riders added up together. Extra pressure, what do you think of the course? We get into a triple combination quite early at 4.
Yep, 4 ABC, right off the bat you get a triple combination. It is a speed phase. You'll be looking, obviously you want to be clear first, speed second. Only the top 4 teams come back for the second round, so that clear rounds are most important, but speed is definitely a key. Our course designer today, Marina de Azevedo, really built a difficult course, but a nice speed course. Lots of tricky spots, places where you can make up time, question marks, certain strides you can do. It's a really, really exciting, fast course for us to jump.
Well, interesting track set for this. As we say, it is going to be Table A in the first round, Table C in the next 2 rounds after that for the 4 remaining teams. After round 1, we start with 8 teams. We have 4 teams after round 1, and into round 2 we then take those 4 and then the further 4 into the last stage. So that's the final fence. Time allowed of 71 seconds here, so it's going to be a pretty tight time, I would think, looking at that, Michael.
Tight time allowed. You would think in a speed phase it shouldn't come into factor too much, but you don't know. Right off the bat, we start with a forward inside track in 7, then a quieter 7. Then, like you said, that triple combination shows up quite early.
Certainly does. Now let's take a look at the teams. We start with AIM United, Sydney Shulman, Andrew Wells, Brian Guttal, and then on to what looks a very strong team indeed, Diamond Devils with Kristen van der Veen, Natalie Dean and Erin Ballard. Blazing Sevens with the 3 there, Nicolette Hurt and Chandler Meadows, Rodrigo Lamre of Brazil on for the Blazing Sevens. They go in this order. You'll see all 3 riders for each team go. Eye Candy midfield there. Eye Candy with Jacqueline Stephens of Canada, Amy Miller, also of Canada, and Paul O'Shea of Ireland. Then down to the Lucky Charms, another strong one here with Shane Sweetnam, Andrew Burns and Jordan Coyle. 3 very fast riders indeed. Atomi Warriors, representing their team is Nicholas Bizarro, Julio David Vaina and John Perez. Roadrunners, see how quick they are with Kyle King, Erin Davis Heineken and Caitlin Campbell. And finally Crusaders in round 1, Charlie Jacobs, Peter Leon and Molly Ashcombe.
Speed well. Inside turn on the island into the triple combination that shows up early in the course. It's a 1-to-1 vertical oxer. Bending here to this oxer, the Major League show jumping. It's a very forward 4-to skinny vertical. We got 5 strides, very direct there. An inside turn, Sydney takes. This oxer comes up very quick, the Cabana Coast oxer. So far, very quick round. Home stretch here at 11 AB.
Ooh, bit of hesitation there. Got there.
She got it done.
Final fence, and we'll get home with a good score to start them off. So it's clear for the first out, 60.42. From combination out there, Sydney Shuman. As I say, the times are added together as well, so if we had all the teams on the same score, or 3 or 4 teams on the same score, time would make the difference. So it all gets added together. You see at the top of the standings there, clear 60.42, AIM United.
Sydney really gave that a good ride. She was very fast, did all the inside turns there. I mean, a great start for the team.
So, second rider up for the AIM United team is Andrew Wells, Kotoki's son Zed, former rider, in fact, of Erin Ballard, who comes up on a team a little bit later on. A rider who's competed in World Cups, Nations Cups, wins in Spruce Meadows before now. Now, this is where the pressure starts to come on, because then you have to follow it up.
That's a hard one to follow. That was just a very quick round by Sydney Schulman. This is a new combination. Andrew just picked this horse up in May, won a meter 45 class in Kentucky his first time out. See, he goes just around the island. Sydney went inside, set up that triple combination. 7 strides to this oxer, then a flat 4. It's clear so far.
Now, as we mentioned earlier on, if the first team out could start with 3 clears and put the pressure on the rest, that makes it a different perspective from being in the draw. Oh, but it isn't going to happen on the 4.
Yeah, that oxer just didn't show up great for Andrew. It's really quick. Coming to our home stretch, fence 11A. It's a 2 stride to a vertical at B. The last jump coming down as well.
Final fence makes a big difference as well. So that's going to be 8 to add to the score. So obviously it's not just the individual score, it's 8 for AIM United on a total time of 121.78. Ooh, that's team jumping though.
That is team jumping.
All counts, everything counts together. So, Andrew Wells just drops them back a bit.
2 very quick rounds. Unfortunately, the 2 rails down for Andrew. We'll see how that plays out. I think we really need Brian for the team here. AIM United's really needing a clear round to make it into the final 4.
Yep, absolutely. So pressure goes on. We've gone from potentially leading the pack. I mean, again, it depends how the rest of the teams get on. But as you say, pressure on Brian to get the clear, because you've just got to stay above that green line with 7 more teams left to go. So Brian Guttal, hugely experienced, of course. Tanel Debon, fabulous combination together. Ooh, another pole comes down. But this is where it can move around very, very quickly, Michael, in terms of where a team can be up and then at the other end.
And you can see the draw in the order definitely is going to play a role. These teams that go at the end are really going to know what they have to do.
Little on the angle here, and again this is where speed comes into it as well, because if the scores are the same for a team, say they finished on 12 and there were 3-4 teams on 12, it's going to be the fastest 12-14 team that goes through, which is why you're seeing them, I was going to say not taking a foot off the gas, but unfortunately drops another pole. So coming home on the now 12 faults, last fence as well, and very quickly the team score goes rolling up. So 16 there for Brian Guttal. So overall score of 24 for the team. They started well.
Started very well. Sydney put in a great clear round to start it off. Unfortunately, rails came down with the next few riders a little bit. You know, I would have to think that you'll need a few more clear rounds to get into the final 4, but we'll see how it plays off. There's a lot that can happen.
So AIM United completing on a score of 24. You see their total time there for the 3 riders. We go on to the Diamond Devils, a strong group here with the very fast Kristen van der Veen to go first. In fact, she won a class on this horse a little bit earlier on. Natalie Dean, as you can see from our graphic, and Erin Ballard will go last on Classic Penny. This looks like a speedy setup.
Very speedy setup.
So Kristen to go first, as I say, won also in Lexington earlier on this season, and has been the queen of Tryon over in North Carolina, has won raft of classes. I worked out this horse had won something close and added another one earlier, about 40 classes internationally.
This horse has won every speed class there is to win in this country for sure. A lot of big international competitions. Certainly one of the favorites anytime you see it in a speed class.
So revving up, trying to get the Diamond Devils off to a good start. Natalie Dean will go second, Erin Ballard to go third. Now we'll see, and again it'll be interesting to see what the team do later on, if they go through to those later rounds, whether they leave. Kristen has a fence down.
Yeah, early rail down at fence number 3.
Question is, do you leave your fastest rider to the final section, or do you put them into round 2 like Carl Cook was saying a little bit earlier on? Actually round 2 can be your make or break as well, because if you're not in the top 2 teams going in, you can't win it.
Absolutely true. And we see with some of these rails coming down early with these teams, the end of this competition might end up being more like a first round clear.
Yeah.
And less like a speed class if we keep having all these rails.
And we can emphasize as well at this point, when you go into round 2, score goes back to 0. Coming into the double at 11.
Very quick in the double there.
Just on the 4, we keep it at the 4, so 4 there for Kristen van der Veen, and Frosty Bull runs Fastino de Tilly. Still not the end of the world for them, we've just got to wait and see.
Nice time, 62.12 seconds. Unfortunately, that early rail for Kristen at fence number 3. Certainly needs some clear rounds from some of her teammates.
Natalie Dean will go second for the Diamond Devils. Kokalina. And Natalie, the 22-year-old, past medalist in the Young Rider Championships, under 25 Grand Prix, finished well in those so far this season, and wins down in Wellington, Florida. Went very well here in Traverse City too. Has got some good form here in the Lakes. So we'll see. And now if they could keep 2 clears, and it's a different story for the Diamond Devils.
2 clears would help a lot for sure. Now he's very competitive rider. It's a newer mount that she got at the beginning of this year, end of last year. Just takes her time a little bit coming into that triple, sets it up. Horse jumps great through there.
This little delicate line.
She took a good shot at that oxer, very quick. You see, she's going quick, I would say, but she's making sure she's staying efficient, but wants to jump clear. Unfortunately, that back rail of fence 9 comes down.
The key is no more. Just on the 4 at the moment. Remember, the first team, as you can see it on your screen, had a score of 24, so they're still in the better position at this stage. So just on the 4 for the second rider, Natalie Dean and Kokalina. I say scores go back to 0 after round 1 for the 4 teams going through. So if you go through an 8, you go through an 8, but it goes back to 0. But the key, you want to be in a safe position to get there.
Absolutely.
Natalie Dean then the second for the Diamond Devils. Cumulative team score of 8 so far. Erin Ballard then goes for the Diamond Devils, their third rider. Classic Penny, a strong rider to put out. World Championship rider in 2018 for Canada. Also won in Tryon in May. Many wins for her, and this is where she can really specialise too.
Erin is definitely a speedy, competitive rider. Numerous wins already this season at the international level.
And you can see by all of them at the moment, as we said, there's no holding back. They know how important the speed is in here, as well as just leaving the poles up.
Got a little stalled up there at that oxer, had the back rail. Having to add a stride, she's the first to do 5 in that line. It's really a flat 4. Back on track now. Unfortunately, fence number 9, the back rail, her teammate Natalie Dean also had that jump down.
Difficult one. They're just trying to cut that corner and just dropping a little bit short on it as they turn. Ooh, stalls up there. That was a problem Sydney Shulman had, but got away with it. So, score for the rider for the team for the Diamond Devils, 12 it is. Erin Ballard, Classic Penny, finished on the 12. So, in the end, they're not much further ahead. Overall team score of 20 for the Diamond Devils. A fence in front, but the gap closes.
Gap closes. This is turning into some more difficult show jumping, not your typical speed round. And I think these riders are going to have to think as the class goes on to maybe just slow down a touch and make sure they're getting those clear rounds. That's most important.
So from the team we see there, the Diamond Devils. We will go on to the Blazing Sevens. Nicolette Hurt, Chandler Meadows and Rodrigo Lamre. 2 teams gone so far, score of 24 and 20. As we said, cumulative score for the 3 riders. Nicolette Hurt goes first on Fleurette. The Blazing Sevens, also including Lauren Huff, who's going to be keeping a training eye on several of these here. And the strong rider Rodrigo Lamre coming towards the end. Of course, he's a well-experienced championship rider for Brazil. So Nicolette Hurt, the 22-year-old, to go out first on a new horse for her this year, former rider of Laura Crouch, and unfortunately has that first fence, and that makes it a long way round. But then I suppose you've got to play a little bit, I was going to say protective, but a second fence for them.
So already with 2 down after the first 3 jumps. Changes the strategy a little bit for sure. Jumps the 4 stride across the diagonal very well. Does 6 in that bending line. We've seen most do the direct 5. Big jump at 11A and clear over the last.
Yep, leaves them on an overall score of 8 there for the Blazing Sevens. Nicolette Hurt, Fleurette, first out for them, 69.51, so 8. again, you can have 2 riders now that come out with 2 clears, and it's a very different story.
Absolutely. Sydney Schulman's round to start us off in that first position.
Yeah.
That clear and very quick round is proving to be a very good round so far.
And a little bit deceptive, exactly. So, second rider out for the Blazing Sevens, Chandler Meadows and Zamia 3. And then Rodrigo Lamre last to go for the Blazing Sevens. Chandler from the West Coast on a horse formerly ridden by New Zealand rider Daniel Meach. Lexington and Thermal wins already this season. And so more towards our home base in California.
Chandler does that first 7 on the inside track very well. The next 7 rides a bit steady. We've seen that Just World jump come down already today. Triple combinations, vertical, vertical, oxer, 1 stride, 1 stride. Horse jumps that great. A little extra stretch over the Major League show jumping oxer.
Little touch there. A clear from her can make a big difference to this team right now.
Yeah, the team really would like to see a clear round here.
Cuts in at the Premier Equestrian vertical. Time's going to be okay, just the last, and that's a good one for Chandler Meadows and Zamia 3, so puts the clear in that they need. Blazing Sevens will stay on the 8 from their first rider, still with Rodrigo Lambre and Chapelot to come into play, but that was a good saver for the team.
Absolutely, absolutely a good savior for the team. They needed that clear round. Rodrigo can go in there, he can be confident, he can have a little speed, but I think most importantly he really wants to put a clear round and try and move his team forward.
So rider to go last, the third of the riders for the Blazing Sevens, Rodrigo Lambre and Chapelot, a Brazilian whose family steeped in the history of equestrian sport. His father competed through to World Cup level, his brother competed at the Olympic Games, of course, and for him, Team Gold at Lima in the Pan Ams last time around in 2019 as well. A horse he's had for a long time here with a number of wins in Mexico, so essentially sending one of their strongest riders out last, which is the strategy they're playing here. You can see the numbers on the back of the riders. That reflects their world ranking within the team, so he's the second highest ranked rider in the team.
Correct. I believe that's world rankings at the start
of the year. Yeah.
Start of the year, yes. So that can fluctuate during the year, their rankings, but it stays the same for their team rankings.
Yeah.
Rodrigo putting a very good, quick, efficient round here. Unfortunately, having that vertical down jinxed him.
Well, if they leave these last couple of fences up, we're still just at the 12. Home for the final fence, and a good round to finish just on the 4. So team score of 12. It's the best in the completed scores so far. Blazing Sevens on the 12 then, turning to Rodrigo Lambre as the last there to bring things home. 62.51 flies round in, so a pretty decent time for them as well. Slower overall than the rest, but the score that makes the difference. So 12 from the Blazing Sevens.
And you can see from the standings as we go, the faults get less and the times get slower. So the strategy is starting to come in that, hey, let's not go so fast right now. Let's try and get as many clear rounds or least amount of faults as possible first.
So on to our next team as we see the Eye Candy team now. Jacqueline Steffens and Freaky, Amy Miller and Cristiano, 2 Canadian riders, and Irishman Paul O'Shea, Squirt Gun, who's their #1 ranked rider of the team, going last. So again, they're playing that strategy of the highest ranked rider coming last on the squad. The Eye Candy team starting off with Jacqueline Steffens and Freaky, horse she's had since 2019. Very fast combination as well, placed in Grand Prix a number of times, including in Ohio and in Wellington this season as well. And as Michael said, you can see how that score plays out on the standings there. So that will start to fill up, and you'll see as we get more teams going through who drops below that green line, and if you're below that green line, you're not going through to round 2. Simple as that.
Will be a total of 3 rounds by the end.
Yeah.
We see 2 riders for the team in the next round, and then 1 rider, the one that didn't go in round 2, will go in the 3rd round. Again, it'll be a lot simpler when you watch it.
It will, but it's a very exciting format. I'm really excited to see.
Ooh, little clip there for Jacqueline Steffens.
Yeah, the front rail of the Major League Show Jumping Ecuestre comes down at fence number 5. Electing to do 6 in the bending line there from 7 to 8. It's a very direct 5 or a very wide 6. This vertical at the end of the ring has come down a few times. It's coming down again. Very difficult placement of that jump on the end of the ring. Oh, and she does 4 to the last. We haven't seen that yet.
Yep. Finishing on a total of 8 there, 65-64, Jacqueline Steffens and Freaky. Thinking there, the pitch towards the final fence?
Yeah, you know, she, big stride, sitting with 2 rails down. I think she was just trying to make up a little time. Asked her horse to move forward. That's the first rider we've seen leave out to the last jump like that. Worked out well for her.
So the next rider up, second rider up for the Eye Candy team, Amy Miller and Cristiano. So team score, as you see there, goes to 8 for the Eye Candy team. Blazing Sevens, as you see at the top on the 12, because that's the best completed score at the moment. Amy Miller then, Championship Rider 2 for the Canadians, 2016 Olympics. She was part of that as a team that finished in 4th place. Finished top 10 in the recent Upperville Grand Prix as well. Horse that's been ridden by both her and Father Ian.
Have to say this new format concept for this team competition it's really exciting. Keeps you on your toes, really keeps you paying attention.
Yep.
Every round matters so much.
And that's the point. Pole, you know, a pole either side is the difference between a winner or a lose today, and it's a lot of pressure on the squads. There's some young riders in here as well, but I think the senior riders are feeling the pressure too. Into this triple combination. Little tough line here.
Putting in a very smooth round so far. Does the direct 5. These next 2 jumps have been very difficult for the riders ahead of her.
Another one has the Cabana Coast Oxer down.
We've seen that Oxford come down a lot. We've seen this vertical at fence number 10 come down a lot.
Coming with the 3 fences left to go on a score of 4 at the moment for the Canadian. Heads for home, and it is going to be 4 then from Amy Miller as the second rider out for the Eye Candy team. And so they go up to a score of 12. So again, if we were sitting in 4th and 5th position on 12 faults at this stage, say the Eye Candy team on 12, Blazing Sevens on 12, the fastest team would go through.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 1 rider left. If they were to go clear, they would be tied on fault with Blazing Sevens, and it would be time to separate that.
So Paul O'Shea last to go for the Eye Candy team. Squirt gun. And Paul, great credentials for him. And of course he's recently ridden in Switzerland as well. Paul, World Championship rider in 2018, 2019, winning Nations Cup final team. Ooh, a little touch there, and he's got the number 1 on his back, so he's the highest ranked rider in the squad for the Eye Candy team.
Yeah, Paul, just a class rider, ridden at the highest level, very speedy rider.
And this is where the pressure goes on these experienced riders, experienced horses together to just get that clear in.
You know, ideally you want to see a clear round in under 68 seconds. That would put them ahead of the Blazing Sevens. clear going into our last line.
He knows speed is important here as well, but just got to leave them up to still have a chance, and he will do that. That's why he's in that position. Strong round from Paul O'Shea, so they go clear. They're also on a score of 12, but Eye Candy, ooh, look at that. Just, well, less than a second. 198 to 197. So, were it to come down to position 4 and 5, Eye Candy go through.
A great anchor ride by Paul there. He knew exactly what he had to do. He was just within that time. Clear round, puts his team in the lead with 4 teams left to jump.
So on to the Lucky Charms, and the Lucky Charms riders Shane Sweenham, Andrew Burns, Jordan Coyle. It's Lucky Charms because it's a full-on Irish squad here.
And some very fast Irish riders as well.
Very fast riders indeed. The question is whether they fire all their ability in this round, or they just tuck a little bit of the fuel left in for rounds 2 and 3. We will see. Shane Sweenham, Indra, a super horse for him. Shane, who had a 5-star Grand Prix win earlier on this season in Wellington. He's won in the Hamptons with this horse. Wellington, Lexington, Traverse City, Tryon, whole list of them. And sending out, well, their strongest rider first, interestingly, for the Lucky Charms.
It's all about strategy. Every team would have its different strategy. This horse is jumping super so far over the first 3 jumps. You'd have to think that this Lucky Charms team right now, the strategy is to get clear rounds first and foremost. Had they been in the first position, maybe they would have come out here going a little bit faster. A lot of strategy comes into play with this team competition. Shane's putting together a very good round. Horse is jumping great. 3 jumps to go.
Looking good for Shane Sweenham and the Lucky Charms. No luck in there, just sheer talent. A very good start for them, and it's a very strong team coming out for Lucky Charms, so they're on a 0 score.
And deceivingly fast round. Shane is so good at that. He didn't look like he was that fast, but he put in a very good time of 63.25 seconds.
So Shane Sweenham delivers the goods. The question is down to the other 2 to follow up. Andrew Burns, Dark Keto, very capable of doing that. Andrew, based in Wellington, Florida, Irish rider that's been placed with this horse in a number of speed classes, including in Lexington recently, won a 2-star Grand Prix down in Wellington, Florida this year as a partnership together, and a host of top 10s here last year in Traverse City as well. Very good producer of horses, and he, like all of them, is starting off with pace.
Yeah, this is a great young horse. Really came on the scene last year here in Traverse City, getting in the FEI competition. Super through the combination. A little rub at the back rail C, got away with it. A little wide in that turn.
Just giving himself some space to get straight to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if he planned the 6, but he did it after he went wide there.
Still looking good, looking strong for the Lucky Charms so far. Hops through to the final fence, and could this be the first double clear in there? Yes, it is. 2 clears for the Lucky Charms. But with this competition, it's not done.
First group in the team to have 2 clear rounds in one team, so that's great.
Shane Sweenham, Andrew Burns delivering for the Lucky Charms, but the pressure then goes on Jordan Coyle. Jordan, who's very capable of producing the clears, and recent winner of the Upperville Grand Prix, the Irishman, also based here in the US, on the very fast Picador, won 5 international classes already this year. And back in 2019, won 4 5-star classes at Spruce Meadows.
So Jordan can guarantee his team a spot into the next round with a score of less than 12 faults.
Yes.
At 12 faults, he would need to be faster than about 66 seconds, 65 seconds.
Yep. I'm glad you're doing the maths. But yes, simple as that, because you've already got the 4 teams in there. The 5th team comes into play, would push the others down.
A little rub at A. Stays up, still working on a clear round. So you really ask for that 4. That 4 is a stretch to that skinny vertical after the Major League show jumping oxer. He elects to do the 6 as well. Maybe a bit of the safer route for a clear round. We're seeing more riders do the 6 as the class goes on. Clear to the home stretch.
Well, this is going to put them, barring disaster at the last, in the lead, but it's certainly the opposite of that. It's a very, very good start. First team to produce all the clears. So, we'll put them at the top of the leaderboard, and so then, well, guarantees their spot into rounds.
They're guaranteed their spot. They were clear all the way through. Just remember, faults do not carry over.
Yep.
Start from scratch in the jump off.
So you can jump in this round, have 3 clear rounds, but if you don't produce 2 fast rounds in the next round, you could be vying for 3rd and 4th.
Absolutely correct. But they are in.
They're in.
We will see them in the next round. There are 2 of their riders in the next round.
Yes, we're going to go and find out from them a little bit later who those 2 will be. We're going to have a team talk with the team managers between rounds and see how it's going to play out. So AIM United, regardless, are out of the equation. So you see them drop below the green line. They're done. Diamond Devils are now on the cusp. Tommy Warriors and Nicolas Pizarro of Mexico, and joins up with Julio David Vaina and John Perez of Colombia. Atlantica du Soleil Z for Nick Pizarro, Olympic rider in 2012, starts them off. And Nick, number 2 ranked on their squad. World Championships, has also been back competing in Europe recently as well. He gets to be the trailblazer for the Tommy Warriors.
Great start so far. Maybe a little conservative round so far, but like we said, clear is the most important. Elected to do 5 in that line. We've seen 1 or 2 other riders do the 5 there.
Oh, and that drops as well. Again, it's a fence that's dropped a lot so far. Again, just so much care needed to just not lose it on that turn. So they're on a score of 4.
It's a big oxer off of a blind turn a little bit. Comes up quick. This meter 50 course is, not only is it a speed round, but it's a very difficult round to jump.
Well, there we go. Just on the 4 faults for the first out for the Tommy Warriors. And the applause from the bank. And there we go. They go in with the 4. Now remember, the Diamond Devils are on the cusp position here. So basically, they just need to be better than that at this point. But you've still got 2 more teams to come into the equation. So you can't sit and pick a score and rely on it.
No, 4 faults isn't a terrible problem at this point. But you definitely would like your teammates to come through with a clear round after that. That would definitely be making you feel better.
Julio David Vaina and De Flor Z, the second rider for the Tommy Warriors. Former rider, in fact, of John Perez, who goes last in this team. Julio also competing down in Wellington in Florida earlier on this year. Ooh, and a little bit of a stuttery start. Does not want that around this course because, again, remember, if they have a problem, which he is...
I think he may have lost his stirrup. Yes, he's taking...
Yeah, gets it back, but that means they're going to go on 4, and that means that the time is going to come into play as well. Can't afford to hang around.
No, there are no drop scores in this team competition, so every round matters.
So Tommy Warriors very quickly going from a strong position to this round may put them in a more precarious position. Oh. Well, that's the second circle, so it does mean elimination. And this is where I get to go into the rules a little bit as well. It doesn't necessarily mean they're completely out. It doesn't help, but their third rider will go, because were there to be more than that group of eliminations, then they could still go through. But with being that far down the scale, we'll see what they do. They are going to send in their third rider, which is John Perez and Voodoo 10, so they will put a completed score in. It's more one of those that if it was early on and the elimination came into play, then it would be a little more taxing. A little bit more of a very slim option still to get through right now, because 4 or 5 teams are already completed. Not going to happen, but it will mean they have a completed score for round 1. So John Perez will go with Voodoo 10. Gives us a moment or two, Michael, to reflect on the team scores already. Lucky Charms, Eye Candy, Blazing Sevens, Diamond Devils. Lucky Charms obviously impressed, but I mean they've come out with a very strong squad here.
A very strong squad. All 3 riders jumping clear, riding very well. Horses look great. Impressive round by all 3 of them. John Perez in the ring now. Unfortunately had an elimination with their second rider.
Going to get that completed team score together. As I say, you can see the numbers on the back of the riders. This relates to their rankings on the world rankings at the start of the year within their team. So the best ranked rider will be number 1, and the lowest ranked rider will be number 6, which gives you a little bit idea of experience. Some of the younger riders, maybe some of the lower numbers or higher numbers, whichever way you want to look at it.
John's putting in a nice round so far as he heads to fence number 9. Has had some problems at number 9, many horses and riders before, but a nice clear effort over that jump as he heads to fence number 10.
And a shame, because he's had a very good round.
Yeah, had the last jump down, just the back bar on the way down, but a very good round indeed.
Yep, so what would have been an 8 with a clear in there, unfortunately carries the elimination, so they drop down below AIM United, so they're below the green line, so we won't see them into round 2. But we will see, at the moment, well, we can say now we'll see the top 2 teams, because we're going to see the Lucky Charms and Eye Candy regardless, with 2 teams left to go. But Blazing Sevens and Diamond Devils could get pushed down yet by the Roadrunners and the Crusaders. Oh, I think we're getting this.
I think we are. It's very exciting.
Roadrunners will be the next team. And Roadrunners going to be a really interesting team this year. McLean Ward on this team as well, as is Adrian Sternlich, and I think she's maybe heading into town next week as well. Kyle King, though, is going to start them off. Kyle King, Erin Davis-Heineken, and Caitlin Campbell, who's a fast rider that goes last. And Kyle first to go for the Roadrunners, representing the Desert Horse Park as well, over in Thermal, where the final 2 stages of the Major League take place. Try and come quick to the first, and it costs them.
Yeah, that's the second rider we've seen have the first jump down. That can certainly change your strategies for the rest of the course. Kyle's a very good speed rider, very competitive. I'd say now he's really focused on finishing with just that 4 faults.
The first fence may not be the end of the world. As we say, the scores go back to 0 in the next round as well. So the key bit here is just get yourself through into round 2, and then you can really up your game.
Yeah, all you need to do is be the top 4.
Yeah.
Then those top 4 teams come back for the next round with a clean slate.
Coming home on the 4, just going to be that first fence for Kyle King in the end. Just finishes on the 4 for the Roadrunners.
That was too bad. That was an excellent round. I'm sure just an unlucky rail at the first jump. Horse jumped great though after that.
But basically they're still in the game. That's the point.
They definitely are. That was a very good ride. Have that first jump down, but to carry on the concentration and finish with a clear round after that, and just finishing with the 4 faults.
Now, again, and you wouldn't necessarily want to think this way, but the Roadrunners on 4, Diamond Devils, what do we look, 12, 20, so we've still got one more team to come. So yeah, you want to be 12 at worst to guarantee your spot in there.
Correct.
Erin Davis Heineken, Leone, Grand Prix winners in Florida last year. Top 10 in the Grand Prix here last week as well. Finished one in the Grand Prix in Thermal this season too. Very nice combination indeed. And looking at her, she's playing the right strategy here, probably just taking a little bit of the pace off and jumping a nice round. Ah! But that's the problem of which way do you play it, because then if we have 3 teams on 12, time comes into it.
Yeah, maybe just got a little too conservative there, and then distance maybe didn't quite show up the way she wanted. Had A down at coming into the triple combination. Now it's time to maybe just pick up the speed a little bit.
Final fence, and yeah, they're going to finish on the 4. So the Roadrunners team on a score of 8, combined time 1:31.65. Why does that matter? Well, because if they go to 12, if they had one more fence down, they're then in that group against Blazing Sevens, etc. And just that little risk with one team left to come, that they could just sit down there, but we'll see.
Yeah, a 4 fault score slower than 66 seconds.
Yeah.
Could potentially put them out.
Kaylin Campbell then is the last rider for the Roadrunners, and this is maybe where you want to play a little bit more, I don't know, I was going to say conservative, but we've just seen where that can get you in trouble, so there isn't really just, go for it. Simple as that. Kaylin Campbell is very good at doing that. Paulina de Lesco. And for the last rider for the Roadrunners, she's a very fast rider indeed. Won on this horse in Las Vegas and Del Mar over in California. She started her life out in Pennsylvania on the East Coast before moving West Coast in the last few seasons. Number of wins too down in Thermal this year. Careful through the triple combination. Ooh. Team are going to be watching with anticipation here. Caitlin's still putting this good round together.
Very good round so far. Would love to finish with a clear round here that would secure them into the next round. Her pace is very good. Oh, little rub there.
Do not want another fence, otherwise it's a different strategy then. The time comes into play, potentially.
Time is good though.
Time is good, and the round is good. It's a clear from Kaylin Campbell, who goes last for the Roadrunners, and so an overall team score of 8. You see that puts them into the second best position at the moment, and guarantees their spot into round 2. So Crusaders left, which means the Blazing Sevens are the only team really in danger in that top 4 at the moment now, with the Crusaders still to come. Crusaders are Charlie Jacobs, Peter Leone and Molly Ash-Corley, another very strong team here. Charlie, multiple 4-time World Cup finalist. Peter Leone, Olympic silver medalist back in '96, and Molly Ash-Corley, multiple World Cup final rider, and also many times Grand Prix winner, including the American Gold Cup. So a strong group to come last. They were drawn last. There was a draw the other night, as they're all drawn out to put them in these positions. The key after this round is that you are jumping yourself into the best position. So they will go in reverse order for the next round. So were it Blazing Sevens would go first, and so on. Lucky Charms going last. Crusaders, AD Palatina for Charlie Jacobs.
Well, there is an advantage. They know exactly what they have to do. They have to beat 12 faults, and they have to be faster than 198 seconds collectively.
Absolutely. And that's where you really, looking at it here as it's playing out, Michael, it's only really the last team to go that really will know that. Even the team that are second from last is a little bit of a danger zone. So, whoop, needs to get some momentum going. Charlie does, getting it back together. So 12 faults could make the difference here. He's had one. They've had a second fence down. Now the pressure really goes on the rest of the team.
Well, there's pressure from Charlie here to not have another rail. And then the rest of the team really needs to go clear after this. Or just one rail and be quite a bit faster.
Charlie, tense moment down the last. One fence to go. And he pulls it back together. So they will finish on the 8 there for Charlie Jacobs. First out for the Crusaders. There's a lot for the other two to carry now, though.
It is. He actually had a time fault, so a rail does put him out.
Yeah.
That time fault could play costly.
Very, very costly.
Because now the riders have to jump clear, or at least not have any rails down.
Yeah.
They could afford a couple time penalties, but a rail puts them out of the top 4.
Ooh, blazing sevens on the edge. Time fault could be the difference here. Peter Leone, second rider for the Crusaders. Olympic silver medalist in '96, American Gold Cup winner too, and winner in Wellington, Florida earlier on this season. Going to the experience here for the second rider. Now, we said the Crusaders get a little bit of advantage maybe going last, but actually, does it just pile on a lot more pressure going last?
It certainly can.
Peter Leone and Molly Ashcawley basically have got to leave everything up.
Peter knows that he has to have a clear round to get through.
Oh no. And gets over the next, but it's going to be 4 to add to the score, which will take them to 13, which means Crusaders out of the game. So
top 4 is set, but Peter's still riding for placing in the bottom 4.
Yep. Oh, and drops another fence. So Crusaders will go up to 17, and there we go. So one rider still to come for them, as you say. For their overall placings, it can make a difference because they could finish in 5th place. Which again makes a difference, prize money at the end and so forth. So Crusaders on a score of 17, not going through to the next round, so we can tell you certainly Lucky Charms, Roadrunners, Eye Candy and Blazing Sevens go through to round 2, and the next 2 rounds are Table C, which basically means speed with seconds added. But we'll save that little package for you to explain a bit more in a minute, as we'll let Molly Ashcawley go, the last for the Crusaders. Berdienne gives me a little chance to ask you, Michael, as she sets up, your rider of the first round. Who's your MVP for this one?
The whole Lucky Charms team. 3 clear rounds. That was very impressive. I thought Shane's horse jumped very well, though.
Yeah.
Paul O'Shea had a really good round as the anchor with Squirt Gun. A clear round from Molly here would solidify 5th place for her team. They cannot get into the top 4, but they can still place 5th with a clear here. So far, Molly's giving this a great ride. Horse is jumping very well. This vertical has been a tough one to jump today, but no problem for the pair. 1 jump to go. Yes. And
There we go. And so with a good round from Molly Ash and Birdie N means that they will go into 5th place overall. And yeah, the Crusaders going into 5th, Diamond Devils there dropping into 6th. Lucky Charms, Roadrunners, Eye Candy are the teams going through to the next round. They'll go in reverse order, and as I say, they go back to a 0 score. Now 2 riders go into the next round, and the remaining rider of the 3 will go into the final round. So we're going to go and catch up in just a moment with the team captains and see how they're going to place it, because the team managers are now deciding who goes into round 2 and who goes on their own into round 3.
Some
I
tough
hope you liked
strategy
it.
coming up.
Slate fashion, and so they're going to come back with 2 designated riders. The team manager and the riders themselves decide exactly which ones will go and in what order when they come back in for the jump-off round. Do want to thank our sponsors once again as we are making the adjustment for that jump-off, and they include, of course, Caliday, Premier, Equestrian, and as well Cabana Coast, among others. If you would please, again, turn your attention up to the screen there as Caliday, one of our valued sponsors, supporting the inaugural season of the Major League Jumping Tour, outfitting riders in the world as they compete over $7 million in prize money, 10 events in North America's premier show jumping venues. And again, they were founded in 2014 to provide American-made luxury equestrian apparel known for their high-quality products and modern take on a storied equestrian lifestyle. Thanks to Caliday.
When every second counts, the surface matters. Premier Equestrian features Pro-Tex footing product and Auto Sport base mats. Mats absorb up to 40% of the concussion. Pro-Tex provides maximum stability. Premier Equestrian is the official footing partner of Major League Show Jumping. Contact us about your arena at premierequestrian.com.
So again, thanks to our sponsors, and as you can see here, tractor work is underway. We've got the adjustment in progress here before the jump-off round. We'll tell you about that jump-off round in just a bit. And as we mentioned, just to recap the way things are working here, we have already seen every team compete in the first round, and they are going to be qualified among the top 4 to come back for the jump-off effort now. We started off with 8 teams, worked our way through those teams until only the best 4 scores advanced. And right now, again, we've got the Lucky Charms made up of Shane Sweetenham, Andrew Barnes, and Jordan Coyle, all 3, of course, riders from Ireland. But today, the Team Lucky Charms outing is the one that came through with the only penalty-free score of the night. Roadrunners, of course, had just a couple of knockdowns in that round. All U.S. riders, Aaron Davis Heineking, Caitlin Campbell, and Kyle King. So Texas, California, and Florida, all represented by the Roadrunners, who showed up to compete for the team here in Traverse City on stop 1. Team Eye Candy once again with Canada's Amy Miller and Jacqueline Steffens, as well as Ireland's Paul O'Shea, had a total of 12 faults and a slightly faster time than the Blazing Sevens. Nicolette Hurt, Chandler Meadows, Rodrigo Lambe, who again had an 8 and a 4 for a total of 12 as well, and were just behind that pace. But they did make it into the top 4 here, and we will have them coming back as well for the first jump off. What it'll be is 2 riders in a clean slate jump off with faults converted to seconds at 3 apiece for every knockdown, and the combined time of each of those 2 riders will be what determines who gets in to the gold medal match, and then the third remaining rider on that team will be called back in for the actual final jump off to see who actually gets those podium positions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as the tractor work is underway here, we'd like to go ahead and throw it across the way to Mr. Stephen Wild to talk about the strategy as these teams advance.
Thank you very much, Brian. Yes, we'll catch up with our teams. Firstly, with Shane Sweetener for Lucky Charms, also gets to be team captain for Lucky Charms. Shane, all the clears in there, but as you just said to me, that doesn't make an awful lot of difference now. All you are is into round 2.
Exactly. Nice to be clear, and obviously we knew when we were finished that we were through to the next round. But like you said, we go back to 0 now, and it's about getting into the last round. So, you know, myself and Andrew will go in this round, and then Jordan will hopefully be waiting for the gold medal round.
Absolutely, because it's very different in this round, because you get yourself into the gold medal, ideally the gold medal round here, which means the best 2 teams.
Yeah, exactly. We're lucky, obviously, we have a good draw now, so we can watch what other teams are doing and hopefully have a good plan going in, what we need to do, and hopefully make it to the next round.
Thank you, Shane. We're going to let you head off and catch up with some of the other team riders who've got down here. Christian, I think he's down there. Let's talk Roadrunners. Roadrunners got very close there. You must have been a bit excited over on that side.
Yeah, it was a good round. Caitlin came in last and put up a clear round to keep us in contention, so we're happy with that.
What's the thinking for the next round? How are you going to play your riders?
Aaron's going to go first. Caitlin's going to go second in the second round. Then we left Kyle for the jump off because his horse has a pretty big gallop, and we think the jump off suits his horse the best.
So Kyle King will be the man to take it to the wire.
Yes, he will. Hopefully he can bring it home for us.
Absolutely. Roadrunners to build on that. Thank you very much. And let's talk the rest of the team. So we got, we're going Team Eye Candy. I think now actually we're going to let's go Team Eye Candy. Darren, let's come on. Let's talk Blazing Sevens then. They all want to get up here. Blazing Sevens. Now for you through that round, a little bit of a close shave.
Yeah, it was really exciting. It came down to the last rider, like all team competitions. And yeah, the girls were watching and they were very nervous, and we squeaked in, and now we're in the second round. It's all good.
Second round, then how are you going to play in the second round? How are you dividing and conquering?
About the same as the first round. Nikki Hurt's going to go first, and then Chandler Meadows, and then, you know, hopefully we make it to the next round, and, you know, we have our anchor Rodrigo.
Rodrigo, you're thinking, is the man to be there under pressure if needed to be in that gold medal ride-off?
Yeah, he's the most experienced, and he has a really experienced, fast horse, and he fit into Sharn Wardley's jacket perfectly.
I know it was a late change there, but unfortunately injured Sharn.
Yeah, that was a shame about Sharn, but yeah, Rodrigo's a great substitute.
Darren, thank you very much. Well, we'll see how the Blazing Sevens get on. That just leaves me with the Eye Candy team, and of course, they're as subtle as ever. Up we come. Vasco Flores, who's on the team as well. And let's get your name as well.
I'm Miss Eye Candy.
Miss Eye Candy. We've got a Miss Eye Candy and everybody's Eye Candy, Vasco Flores. Vasco, you're keeping control of the team here. Now, Team Eye Candy, let's just talk to you about those, because it was Jacqueline Steffens, Amy Miller, Paul O'Shea. You're on the squad, but on the sidelines, you're giving a bit of coaching today.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see, it was all about clear rounds and trying to get to the second round, and we're really excited to be in the mix.
So how are Team Eye Candy going to play it in the next round? What's the lineup of riders?
We're going to send Amy Miller first and then Jacqueline Steffens. We want to put a little bit of experience out first, and we're banking on that.
Absolutely. So Paul O'Shea will be the man to go in the final rounds.
That's the plan.
Keeping with the experience. Vasco, thank you. Good luck, Team iCandy.
All the best. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Team iCandy, in the game as well. They're the 4 teams in the game for the next round. So, with that little overview, and we'll hand you back to Brian to have a little look around what's coming up for the order for that jump-off.
All right, thanks a lot, Stephen. And in fact, as you already mentioned, we were going to go through that order for the jump-off. The riders have, of course, been placed, and that's not up to anyone else but the teams and their managers. They can sort of decide, they can strategize, they can figure out exactly who is going to be best suited for the first jump-off, where, again, the combined time is what will determine who gets into what is called the gold medal match and the bronze medal match. That's because the gold medal match determines the gold medal and the silver medal podium. The bronze medal match determines who gets on the bronze medal podium and then just off the podium there in 4th place. You can see the results right now, but once we get into that jump-off round, those scores are going to be wiped off the board. It is going to be a clean slate going into that first jump-off. The Blazing Sevens will actually have their riders going first, including Nicolette Hurt and Chandler Meadows. Then we'll go on to Team iCandy with Paul O'Shea and Amy Miller, as you've already heard, up to the Roadrunners, who earned themselves the second-to-last spot in that jump-off round. Erin Davis-Heineking and then Caitlin Campbell will be the order of the jump-off. And, of course, the Lucky Charms did the best today with no faults at all, and they have chosen Shane Sweetenham to lead things off, followed by Andrew Bourne. So those are the riders, again, with their teams in that order, who will show in the first jump-off. And, again, the combined time of those two riders will figure out who gets into the medal matches. And for more on the course going into this jump-off, we'll go ahead and send it back across the way to Stephen Wild, again with Carl Cook.
Absolutely. Thank you, Carl. You've been watching that. Let's first talk a little bit of analysis. There. What do you think?
I thought they came out of the gate a little bit obsessed with the time. And then as the class went on, I think everyone kind of calmed down, and then you started to see people really approach the course and not be too obsessed with the time.
So for them, in terms of strategy, you could see, as you say, the early teams had that little bit of disadvantage.
You could say that, but at the same time, they could have maybe assumed that it wouldn't come down to tie of faults, so times wouldn't matter. But they took the gamble anyway and said, let me go fast regardless.
Okay, so that's how it played out in that round. Let's talk your big players from that round, because Lucky Charms were unbelievable.
I mean, they just looked so crisp and clean. They rode the course accurately, the track accurately. They looked composed and just in control of what they were doing. It was great to watch.
And listening to a few of those, how the teams are going to play it, the likes of Paul O'Shea going into the final round there, a few teams taking the gamble of putting their strongest rider maybe into the final rounds.
It just depends on who you have. You know, if it's super important for you to put your strong people in the first jump off to get into the final round, or do you have strong people so that you put your strongest in the final round? That's where it's interesting.
Where's the Cook money going?
Lucky Charms, man.
Has to be Lucky Charms. So, Carl, let's just give us a quick whiz round, because this second round course will be the same course for the third and final round as well, but it's table C, so it's seconds added, 3 seconds added if they have a fence down. Give me a quick tour of it.
All right, so we start over fence 7. I think it's 7 strides, fence 14, roll back to 11A. I didn't walk the jump off, so we're down to fence 12. We roll back to fence 15, black vertical. And then there's a little bit of interestingness to fence 3 because there's some bushes in the way. There's no flags, so you can jump those bushes if you want, but it might not be faster. Roll back around to, 4AB, down to fence 5. And I think that run down to fence 5 is going to be exciting for people, and it'll be interesting to see how much risk they take.
How much risk they take will be the thing, but again, with a different format here, table C, so seconds added, it's a little less crucial if you have a fence down than it was in the first round.
Correct, and so as a rider, it can increase your threshold of risk because it's less costly, so you're like, okay, well, I can go a little bit harder, and if I have a mistake, I can make that up. And that increases the risk and the excitement.
Now, if you sit in the middle part of the course there, that's a bit interesting. Explain to me a bit interesting.
Look, it just depends on what is fastest. If it's fastest to cut it and jump the podium, then great. If it's not, then people are all going to go around. But it's going to be interesting to see how people play it and what they decide is the best course for them and their team.
And for anyone watching the Table C class this afternoon, quite a few jumped the podium, but I think the two arena guys that are sitting on there at the moment, I'd probably move.
Absolutely. I jumped the podium, and I would definitely move if I were them.
For you, what's been your first impression of seeing the first round as a concept?
I think it was great. I love the idea of all three riders going at the same time. I really think that that is a really cool idea that the Major League had. And I think also the first jump off, having two riders go at the same time per team, carries that style over into the first jump off. I really like that idea, and I think the pressure that it builds is really cool.
Carl, thank you very much. You can sit back and enjoy for the rest of the evening.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Lucky Charms. We'll see how they get on. Carl Cook, thank you very much. And we'll let you head off. Carl Cook, thank you. And that's our thoughts on what might happen in round two. Brian, it's over to you for the build-up to this second round. As we say, two riders for each of the teams. Combined score, Table C. It's going to be fast.
Indeed it will, Stephen, and exciting as well. I hope that everyone who's joining us here on the hillside at Traverse City is enjoying themselves. We're so glad that we can have the audiences back with us here in 2021. Those of you who are watching online, since things are starting to get back to normal, we hope that you'll plan to join us at one of the upcoming stops. Of course, we're back in Traverse City here next week as well. But right now, we're about to kick things into high gear for that jump off, probably 3 or 4 minutes before the first horse comes back in for the jump off round, and we'd like to tell you about the route that will be used. So we will again descend on our Turtle Creek Casino and Hotel International Ring as we talk about the short course here this evening. And they're going to start things off over fence number 7, which is our Turtle Creek Casino fence to begin. Then they will make their way across to a Dolman vertical, which is going to be fence number 14. Around there will go to number 11A, and you can see that 11A is all that remains of what was a combination there going down toward home. A straight line from there to the Southern Arches fence, that oxer with a Liverpool beneath, is heading directly toward that podium as they were talking about a short while ago. Then a left-hand turn and back across the Equiline vertical, number 15. And away from home they will come at that point to jump the Just World Oxer number 3, then back around to the hillside in front of the Cabana Coast Club. As they turn to the left, they will come back down that combination, but it'll be just 4A and B this time around before they make a gallop on down to the Major League Oxer, where they're going to wrap up the route here this evening in the jump off, hoping to be quick, certainly hoping to leave the jumps up, but even if they have knockdowns, remember, they're going to turn into seconds. So if you have a penalty of a knockdown, which means 3 seconds added in this format, you can still make up for that time by picking up the pace after the rail comes down. That keeps it exciting all the way to the finish line, because even knockdowns can get a fast time, and 2 fast times means a chance at the gold medal and the pinnacle of the podium when that presentation happens tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we are in the midst of a groundbreaking competition, and you're all a part of it. We hope you're excited, but if not, fasten your safety belts. It's all about to unfold here in our main arena.
That's a fantastic start for the team. Team jumping at its very best. What a team performance. That's what Major League Show Jumping's all about.
So second rider, Chandler Meadows, she has a tough task here. I think she will really need a speedy, clear round to get into the top 2.
So for them, I guess it'll be combined score.
Quick roll back on 11A. Fence number 12. It's an oxer with a Liverpool, then you roll back on the equiline vertical. It's been a tough jump all week, placed in different classes. Just World. Inside turn back on this double. It's the A and B element of the triple combination, and then a gallop to the last oxer. Clear so far.
And so a good round for them at 45.79, and so that will be added to the score from the first round.
We did have a rail at the last jump.
Ah, we did. So 3 seconds to add there for them. And we'll get the overall score for Chandler Meadows and Nicolette Hurt combined. $45.79, and then that time, first time, as I say, of just over 50 to add to that. So second team up, we're going to get the scores in there for the first team, the Blazing Sevens. Team Eye Candy go next.
See Amy starting with a good gallop as she heads to fence 1. Just really lining this up.
So that first team
she does that forward 6.
Yeah, first team total score 99.68.
Quick to 11A. We're seeing a little more speed from Amy than we saw out of the first 2 riders on the last team. Good gallop across to the Just World. Gets inside. Ooh, just inside.
Yeah.
A good gallop to the last, leaving it up.
Yeah, good one from them. 42.16 from Amy Miller then. The first out for the team Eye Candy. So 42.16 now. Remember 99.68 from the first team that went out, the Blazing Sevens. And so that is somewhat quicker.
Yeah, that was an excellent clear round. Speedy, clear, most importantly. Very good round. So teammate coming in, Jacqueline Steffens, looking to have a clear round just like that would be ideal.
Yeah, as you can see there, 42.16 for team Eye Candy. And their second team rider, so she goes in a similar time. Jacqueline Steffens, we're talking into the 80s, so substantially quicker. So they have the still potential to go into the gold medal round that comes up after this.
Where?
Jacqueline Steffens then to go second for the Eye Candy team for the Canadian, and she is a real specialist at this.
She's a quick rider, very competitive. Oh, great turn back on 11A. Very quick to the equiline vertical. I can see a real big distance there to Just World. Left to stride out there for sure. Oh, cut up to her a little bit there at A of the combination. But a quick time in 42.50 seconds.
42.50 for Jacqueline Steffens, 42.16 for them, so substantially quicker than the Blazing Sevens. Their time was 99.77, so we're looking at round about 84 for that team. In fact, team result there confirmed there, 87.66. They're much better at maths than I am, so that is fine. 87.66 from the Eye Candy team.
So a 12-second lead,
yeah,
over the second place team.
So third team out then are going to be the Roadrunners. We're going in reverse order then of that first round for those 4 teams going through. Eye Candy team 87.66, Blazing Sevens 99.77. Roadrunners team then Aaron Davis Heineking and then teaming up with Caitlin Campbell. 2 fast ones in this round to potentially put them into that final gold medal ride-off. We'll see.
So we've seen 6 and 7 strides up this first line. Aaron does the forward 6. You roll back on fence 11A. First part of the double combination that was in the first round. She does the forward 7. It's a quick roll back on this equiline jump. She is moving good to it. Oh, little drive by though, unfortunately.
So, well, with a table C, just loses them time. Just coming into this double here, and as you say, he's just going to keep rolling that time up, which puts them, maybe, we'll see, might, oh, and that another 3 to add there.
Last rail is definitely costly. The drive-by causing some time. Finishing 52.53 seconds, 3 seconds added on, so total 55.53.
Yeah, 55.53 for the first rider out for the combinations there for the Roadrunners. And if we compare that against the other teams, Eye Candy, we saw 87.66. Unless they get a really blazing round here and something happens to the other team, then they're probably going to be into riding off for that bronze. Still with the Lucky Charms to come.
Caitlin elected to add 1 stride there than what Aaron did, but a real tight turn back on the equiline vertical. She leaves that up. Needs to get inside here. She does. Needs to leave these up. Big gallop to the last.
Ooh.
Great round.
Very good round, 42-1, and helps the score of the team for the Roadrunners, and that will be added to their score. You can see that up on the scoreboard, 97-74 for them. Blazing Sevens were 99-77 as an overall score, so they're actually below that line. So those are the top 2 teams at the moment, Eye Candy and the Roadrunners. Eye Candy best at 87-66. Now Lucky Charms are going to look to try and relegate Roadrunners down into that bronze medal ride-off. Blazing Sevens there, as you see, dropping below the line. So Lucky Charms, and so we go to the final team in this round. Shane Sweetnam and Andrew Burns going for them. We heard from Shane a little bit earlier on. They're playing a little bit of what we talked about earlier, that maybe you want to put some really strong pair here to guarantee yourself being into that final gold medal runoff for first or second, because if you're not, you're out of it anyway.
I mean, all 3 of their riders are very strong. Shane probably with the most experience, for sure, very fast rider. I think putting him in this first group, they just want to make sure they're in that top 2. See him really getting that 7. Quick angle on the equiline.
Little cut inside there. Ooh.
Little rub, but got away with it as he gallops to the last jump.
And he's going to be very fast coming home. He's going to be just around the 40 mark, 41.84 for the first out for the Lucky Charms. Now, it's going to be interesting to see whether this is a team that can go right the way through from being best team in the first round, best team in the second round, and get right through to the win, because they're in a very good position now. Eye Candy there, 87.66. Just needs something in a similar ballpark from Andrew Birds, and actually he's got a little bit of he's got some breathing space there, hasn't he?
He does.
97.74 is Roadrunners. He's just got to be better than that as a combined time. So you're looking at what, about 56 seconds?
Yeah, I'd say you don't want to take any risks. Make sure you jump every jump cautiously a little bit, but you know, you want to stay on a little bit of pace. He's going for it.
Yeah, he's going. Don't you worry. Obviously suits them as well. Still delivering at this point. I can see Jordan Coyle, who's going to be the man to go in the next round, watching closely up on the bank. Lucky Charms still strong.
Putting in a very good round. Looks like they stuck to their game plan right from the start.
Certainly did. Well, look at that, 44.79. So Lucky Charms will be the best of the scores after that second round. So in that right off, we're going to see in the next round, the gold medal round is going to be Lucky Charms against Eye Candy, and going for the third and fourth position, the Roadrunners against the Blazing Sevens. So Lucky Charms with the best score again. Can they go right the way through? We will see. That's where the strategy plays. So you see the green line there, Lucky Charms and Eye Candy above it. They will ride off against each other in the what's called the gold medal round. And then going for the third place there, for the podium jump off, as you see, Roadrunners and Blazing Sevens. Blazing Sevens could move up to third, and again, we go back to 0 in terms of score. We're not adding all the times up into the next round. Everybody goes back to 0. But the essential part is Lucky Charms are going against Eye Candy. Roadrunners are going against Blazing Sevens.
Yeah, it'll be an exciting ride-off here. Lucky Charms has been solid. No rails the whole way through. Eye Candy's been very close. We'll see Paul O'Shea coming back for them. Jordan Coyle coming back for Lucky Charms. And then we have a nice podium jump off for the Roadrunners and Blazing Sevens. So the winner of that round will still make the podium.
Yep. So with the Lucky Charms sending those two strong riders out of the last time, it's going to be interesting. Got two Irish riders against each other in Paul O'Shea and Jordan Coyle, as you say, both very good indeed. So that's going to be a good one. And Roadrunners, and that'll be Kyle King coming out for them. And Blazing Sevens with Rodrigo Lamre. That's what comes in the final round. Who walks away off the top of the podium? We will find out very, very shortly. But we're going to take a breather for a moment, catch up with some of our sponsors as well, and then give you an overview of what to expect into the final stage of this Major League show jumping.
This week, and of course proud to support the inaugural season of the Major League Show Jumping Tour, outfitting top riders in the world as they compete for over $7 million in prize money at over 10 events at North America's premier show jumping venues. Founded in 2014 to provide American-made luxury equestrian apparel, Callaway is known for its high-quality products and its modern take on the storied equestrian lifestyle. Visit the Callaway booth in front of the...
When every second counts, the surface matters. Premier Equestrian features Pro-Tex footing product and Auto Sport base mats. Mats absorb up to 40% of the concussion. Pro-Tex provides maximum stability. Premier Equestrian is the official footing partner of Major League Show Jumping. Contact us about your arena at premierequestrian.com.
Make this all possible, and we hope that you do decide to pick up some of that official Major League Show Jumping apparel and merchandise again at the Calladay booth. Again, we thank Premier Equestrian and Cabana Coast for their support as well. It's an incredible year. Remember, this is the first stop on the tour. We're going to be going again here in Traverse City next week for our Major League Show Jumping event, and following that, we have events that will be taking place in Canada, Mexico, and eventually making their way back to the U.S. out on the West Coast into California when the Thermal Series begins there in December. Folks, maybe a quick time to stretch your legs a bit, grab a beverage. We only have a few minutes before the final jump-off, which is known as the gold medal match, will commence. So get ready for the top-level excitement.
We're getting set for the final round of this Major League Jumping here in Traverse City, $200,000 class. Now, it is something somewhat different because we have two almost separate rounds coming up here. We've got the bronze medal match and the gold medal match. Now, what does that mean, I hear you ask? Well, let me explain. Gold medal match will be the teams that were in first and second competing against each other to be top of the podium. One of them, the worst you can be in that round, is second. Now, the other battle is to who is going to be third, because third and fourth go against each other, and so from their point of view, the best or worst you can do, best you can do is third spot, but it could be, with those two teams going into third and fourth, the team that came in as the fourth team there could move up a place. Michael Morrissey alongside me. What have you made of it so far?
Yeah, for that bronze medal match, we have Rodrigo Lambre going against Kyle King, two very fast riders. That's an important round. They're not in the top two, but they definitely want that podium finish. That third place would be very nice to have. We see our first rider making its way down the ramp.
Yep, let's look at those. So Lucky Charms and Eye Candy. Just remember, those are results from round 2. The scores go back to 0. So in that first ride-off we've got the Roadrunners against the Blazing Sevens. Again, back to 0. Table C, once again, 3 seconds added. Now the rider that didn't jump in round 2 jumps in this third round. Solo. Simple as that. So one rider from each team to decide their position. Blazing Sevens against the Roadrunners. Lucky Charms against Eye Candy. Lucky Charms and Eye Candy going for first spot. Roadrunners and Blazing Sevens going for that third place. So those are the teams left in the game, and as we saw from round 2, it is going to be into this final stage, and that was it all about playing position for round 2. Now you can really let fly.
Yeah, the strategy, he's going to go fast, he's going to try to go clear. He's got Kyle King behind him, knowing exactly what he's going to have to do.
So let's remind you, you're going in reverse order of teams. So Blazing Sevens are going first, then the Roadrunners. They're going for third and fourth. Blazing
Correct.
Sevens might be able to lift up to third.
They certainly could with a very solid, clear, fast round.
Rodrigo Lambre for the Blazing Sevens to start them off. The rider who's ridden at championships for Brazil before now, hugely experienced. They put their most experienced rider into the game, or most experienced rider here this week. Same course as it was in the last round. Again, Table C, 3 seconds added. Michael, I think this is going to be an even more aggressive round.
It's aggressive so far. He does the 6 up the first line, 7 up the second line, both the leave outs, quick to the equiline vertical. He's got a great gallop here to the Just World Oxer. Super inside turn, double verticals, 1 jump to go.
1 jump to go, and to put the pressure on. So, and a bit of pressure comes off because it's 3 seconds to add there. So Rodrigo around in 41.84. Time to add, as you can see there, 44.84.
Quick round, unfortunately, those 3 seconds being added on because of the last jump. Kyle knows exactly what he has to do. He has to beat a time of 44.84 seconds. So he either needs to be clear and under 44.
Yep.
If he has a rail, he's got to be faster than 41.84.
Basically, just get around really fast. Simple as that. Leave them all up. So Kyle King and Etalon for the second of the teams there for the Roadrunners. So Blazing Sevens at the moment in third, but Roadrunners can knock them off that spot, put themselves on the podium into third place. Kyle King is going to be the rider to go for them. Now again, you see how the strategy works. This is a rider that won in California this year, was at top 5 in the Grand Prix here last week as well. They're looking for maybe form here, what might suit the horse and rider that they've got to put into this last round. So Kyle King has got to go and beat Rodrigo.
Does the 6, 1-2. I think he's going fast in case he does have a rail.
Back they come to the equiline fence. Just got to be careful of that.
Ooh.
Ooh, a little unsteady down that line.
Got it done, clear. 3 jumps to jump. 1 to go for a podium finish if he's fast enough.
If he's fast enough, he's got to be faster than 44.84. He should be if he leaves the last, and he is. 42.31 from Kyle. So that team will go into third place, and there for Kyle King, they'll put them into third for the Roadrunners. Fourth place for Rodrigo Lamre and his team for the Blazing Sevens.
Excellent pressure ride there by Kyle King. He knew exactly what he had to do. He had to be faster than 44 seconds and had 2 seconds to spare.
Do we think we've got this, how this works now?
It's great. It's exciting. I love it. So now we have the gold medal jump off.
Yep, Paul O'Shea against Jordan Coyle for this one. Jordan Coyle will go last because the Lucky Charms were the best going into this round. Paul O'Shea goes first. 2 Irish riders up against each other, and 2 very fast riders indeed. Jordan, who's won a lot of classes, going to be second, but Paul O'Shea, the number 1 rider for the Eye Candy team with Squirt Gun, will go first.
The Squirt Gun looks ready to go. Bloody horse, small horse, very crafty.
Good start, and it's a nimble little pair. Steams up that line. Woof!
Way up from 7. Clear over the equiline vertical. Big gallop coming here.
Now remember, he's not trying to beat the other 2 times. He's setting a target for Jordan Coyle to try and beat.
1 to go. Time looks very good.
Yep, Paul O'Shea to the last, and lays down the time for the Eye Candy team, and there we go, 41.72 from Paul O'Shea.
Pressure is on. That was a solid round. Clear all the way through. No time added on for penalties. That's going to be tough to beat.
And what you can say from seeing the times already, he can't have a fence down, really.
He can.
No.
I don't think so. I don't think he could do this round in 38 seconds, even with a rail down. So he needs to be clear in under 41.72 seconds.
So Jordan Coyle, the last to go, is going for the top of the podium. If he's slower, Eye Candy win. If they're quicker, Lucky Charms win. See if the Lucky Charms can go right the way through the card. They led after the first round. They led after the second round. But you've got to convert. Coyle off and running. This is where he's so good.
He's giving it a go.
Yeah.
That was a quick turn there to 11A. Big gallop down to Liverpool Oxer.
I mean, he looks quicker than Paul. We'll see, but he's got to leave them up.
He's on it. This is going to be very close. One jump to go.
Steam down to the last. He's got a little bit in hand here. He can leave it up, and he does at 38.81. Well, deserving of that. It's going to be a win for the Lucky Charms. What a match between those.
What a time he had. Exciting jump off. Great anchor ride by Jordan Coyle to take the win here for the first event of the Major League Show Jumping. Team Lucky Charms takes the win.
Certainly do. It is Lucky Charms to take the win. Eye Candy in second in the end. And then that little rundown, as you can see, Roadrunners will make the podium in third. Blazing Sevens finishing into fourth spot overall. So, as they take a tour of the ring, congratulations there. Michael, thank you to you. I'm going to head over and interview the winning team. That was fun.
That was a blast.
Presentation on its way as well. As I say, we're going to catch up with the winning team. Well done to the Lucky Charms, and on his way on his lap of honour, congratulations, Jordan Coyle, representing the Lucky Charms here this evening. Wow. See if the Lucky Charms can go right the way through the card. They led after the first round, they led after the second round, but you've got to convert. Coyle off and running. This is where he's so good.
He's giving it a go.
Yeah.
That was a quick turn there to 11A. Big gallop down to Liverpool Oxer.
I mean, he looks quicker than Paul. We'll see, but he's got to leave them up.
He's on it. This is going to be very close. One jump to go.
Steam down to the last. He's got a little bit in hand here. He can leave it up, and he does at 38.81. Well, deserving of that. It's going to be a win for the Lucky Charms. What a match between those.
What a time he had. Exciting jump off. Great anchor ride by Jordan Cole.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, we have just wrapped up an incredible first team effort here in the Major League Show Jumping Tour, and we're going to go ahead and send it across the way once again to Stephen Wild as our preparations for the awards continue.
Thank you very much, Sir Brian. Yes, our first ever winners in Major League. Shane Sweetenham, team manager, man that leads them out. Yeah, it's quite some team, and it's all got the same accent.
Yeah, exactly. We were lucky today anyway, all of us leprechauns except for Andrew. Yeah. But yeah, Jordan did a great job last to go because Paul O'Shea had done a great job, a real quick time, and Jordan really got the job done.
And for you, Andrew, in amongst this group here, I mean, how was the pressure for you in that?
I think the format in itself adds more pressure than the usual Nations Cup. But I think it was great fun, and my horse enjoyed it, and I think we all had a good time.
Had a great time with that. Jordan, if you come this way for a second, we'll do a little change around here. Jordan Coyle to come in and chat to me here. Jordan, pressure on you as the last man there, but what was the strategy in it? But that should suit you, shouldn't it?
Yeah, no pressure on this horse. Going like this is quite easy actually. Going slow is very hard for me and the horse.
How did you feel against going up to fellow Irishman Paul O'Shea?
My horse is different than his. Mine's go a lot faster. I was delighted to win today.
John, congratulations. Let's get a final word from Shane Sweetenham there. Shane, we're going to let you go on to those fantastic horses in just a moment. Let's have a little comment on the horses that you've ridden here today.
All three are really good horses. We fancied our chances of winning today, but you have to have a little bit of luck with it, and that's why we're the Lucky Charms.
And you always ask the winning team this. What did you think of the competition today and the format?
Yeah, it was exciting. Like Andrew said, the second and the third round was really nail-biting at times, and there wasn't any room for error, as you saw. If Jordan knocked the fence, even though we hadn't knocked the fence all day, we would have lost.
Absolutely. Well done. Congratulations to the Lucky Charms. A very good start.
A great start, yeah.
Absolutely. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause. Congratulations to Lucky Charms here, to Shane, to Andrew, and to Jordan. A fantastic run from them, and a great way to start off the brand new series for Major League Show Jumping. We hope you enjoyed that, and of course we're back next week with another round here in Traverse City, and over the coming months we'll be heading everywhere from up to Toronto in Canada, on to Mexico as well, 2 stages in there before culminating in California as well. But I think about almost set ready to go into our presentation with our top teams, the podium in place, and it's time to hand back to Brian Lookabill to complete the proceedings.
Thanks a lot, Stephen. Glad to be here, and how exciting it's been all day long. I mean, all the way in the lead up to our team competition, we had some incredible show jumping, but nothing like this we have ever seen before. And so now it is time to give them what they've been asking for, the chance to come in to the podium and step right up this way. We're going to go ahead and make our way in with our third place team first, if you would please. They have now taken their position coming in so that they can mount up for the bronze medal after a great tie-breaking round there in the medal match. Kyle King, of course, coming through after Aaron Heineking and Caitlin Campbell contributed their combined times as well, and they're going to make their way in again to that bronze medal position. Give them a nice hand, ladies and gentlemen, as they step this way. Once again, that's the Team Roadrunners effort. Steve Hankin also a part of the team there as their manager. Go ahead and step right up onto that podium position, if you would please, as our bronze medalists. All right, and now for our silver medal team as they make their way through the arch, ladies and gentlemen. And they were a Team Eye Candy stepping up this way. Also, in a riveting performance today. Remember, it was 4 teams that got into the medal matches. The third and fourth battled it out for that bronze medal. The top 2 battled it out then, of course, for the silver. And the ones who emerged with that honor, Paul O'Shea, as well as Jacqueline Steffens and Amy Miller. Step right on up there. That's your silver medal team for Team Eye Candy. And, of course, salute as well to manager Erica Hatfield on helping them to organize things and come up with that team strategy. And, of course, in that gold medal match, the ones who came through in the absolute last round of the night and just had a dominating performance all evening long were the Lucky Charms, the luck of the Irish indeed, as well as some incredible skill that we saw here tonight from Shane Sweetenham, Andrew Barnes, and Jordan Coyle. Give them a hand coming in with their winning mounts as well. The Lucky Charms with Indra van der Oudheihoff, as well as Darkito and Picador. And we'll go ahead and ask them at this time, let the grooms to go ahead and take those mounts while they dismount and head on up to that top spot on the podium. Give them a hand, folks, while they approach the gold medal position. Good sportsmanship being shown all the way around, but now it's time for the gold medalists to step right up on there. Shane Sweetenham, Andrew Barnes, and of course Jordan Coyle, who just came through for the win. Now, of course, we have with us here our presenters who have helped to organize the events here, our Major League Show Jumping Tournament. Matt Morrissey, of course, has joined us, as has Kian White. They'll be presenting our medals at this time as they make their way across. Of course, we've got the bronze medals first. So the official ceremony taking place now. And the medalists on that bronze medal position there, one more time, including Kyle King, Aaron Heineking, and Caitlin Campbell. Team Roadrunners in the third position with team manager Steve Hankin also on board. Lily Nace assisting here on behalf of our awards committee, Barbara Lang as well. Bronze medalists, congratulations. Matt Morrissey stepping forward as well to give him a nice token of that bronze medal effort. Remember, 8 teams came to win here, and only these 3 could make it up to the podiums. Second highest spot in the podiums here is that of our silver medalists, and again, including Amy Miller, Jacqueline Steffens, and Paul O'Shea. 2 riders for Canada, one for Ireland, of course, making up Team Eye Candy in that second highest position. Another token from Matt Morrissey of the silver medal effort. Congratulations again to Team Eye Candy. And atop the highest position on the podium, the team who again showed all the way through that they truly deserved this spot with a faultless first round effort and an incredible round in the tiebreakers. First in the jump off and then the medal match. Again, the gold medalists here today, Lucky Charms with Shane Sweetenham, Andrew Barnes, and Jordan Coyle. They went all out for the win. Right here. And we'll go ahead and get a photograph of all three as we salute the victories they have earned here tonight. The top of the podium held again by the Lucky Charms. The Eye Candy effort earns them the silver medal, and the Roadrunners earning that bronze medal position. We're going to go ahead and collect those bouquets from you at this time and ask you to stay right where you are. Many of you have been in these positions before, and you know what's coming up next, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and clear out, because it's time for that champagne salute. The winners again, Team Lucky Charms. Let's see it. After a hard-fought day, and certainly one that was a lot of fun as well, there's nothing like a sip of champagne for refreshment. Congratulations to all of these teams. We're going to let our winning riders, once they've had that sip, retake their mounts, because there's one final order of business now, and we'll let them go ahead and mount up for the victory pass. Stay with us. Andrew? Congrats. 8 teams started, 4 teams went into the first jump off, and of course the best teams went on to the medals, and the gold medal earned by the Lucky Charms here. We'll go ahead and send them off. We've got the all-Irish contingent of Shane Sweetenham, Andrew Barnes, and Jordan Coyle. They have earned it, folks. It's been a long time coming, but the Major League Show Jumping Team Event, Round 1, is in the books. Really incredible show jumping. Incredible show jumping here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and our Great Lakes Equestrian Festival Week 2 still has one more day. We'll be seeing you back here tomorrow in the Turtle Creek Casino and Hotel International Ring for more great competition. But tonight, it's the night for our team event, and we salute those riders while they depart. The Cabana Coast Club is about to go live. DJ Motaz making his way up to Hillside, and we look forward to everybody staying with us to celebrate, again, this one being in the history books here tonight. Again, after that, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Enjoy your evenings. We'll see you then.